Hello, um, welcome to another KODEK BTS behind the scenes. So this one I wanted to talk about sound design, sound effects, sound design, because when I was in art school learning to be a 2D animator, I would always tell people I would love to work in character design, storyboarding, and Foley, and people would always turn and look at me like, wait, what? You're an animator and you want to work in Foley? And I'm like, yes, I really, really love Foley. I love Foley work. I can appreciate it. And I have since I was a kid. I was just really struck deeply by it. Watching like old Nickelodeon interstitials or, the stuff in between episodes. And sometimes they'd show behind the scenes stuff. And you'd see the Foley artists in the studio watching the actual episode and just like playing with all the different things that would make the sound effects and stuff. And even Disney would do them. You see like old Disney documentaries and you see like, the old black and white stuff and you can see them working on the sound effects for the old movies and things. And I love that stuff. I loved it. So I say that to say this is that I started slowly building up my library of codec related sound effects because I realized, a lot of this is because it's so far in the future that some of this stuff is going to be fairly alien and slightly new sounds that I want to produce. Like the sounds for when the actual codec devices replicate. I don't know what that's supposed to sound like, but I'm playing with a lot of different sounds. One of the things that struck me was, what does it sound like in episode 1? What does it sound like when that decanom first comes out of that codec device? And I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure until one day I'm walking around at work and I didn't even see it, but I stepped on a plastic water bottle. And it was this type of plastic water bottle, maybe you've seen it, and it has ridges on it. It has like all these little ridges all the way along the body of it. And when I stepped on it, it made a sound. But then when I took my foot off of it, because I noticed it, it was already pretty flattened. So it made a distinct sound. And when I took my foot off of it, it made a second sound. And I said, I like that sound. I had heard that sound before because I had water bottles in my hand like that. And, and they're like thin. They're like sort of a thin plastic. And so, you can squish them in your hand. Even when there's water in it, they make a sound. They sort of make a squeaky, watery sound. But then when they're empty, they make a whole different sound. And then when they're crushed, they make it's amazing. So I was really, really into that sound. And I was like, okay, that's one of the sounds I want to use. I want to use that sound because this thing is sort of tearing itself up and out of this structure. It's sort of being born, and it's this digital creature coming to life in the physical world, And so I wanted it to sort of be like pulling itself up out of this digital realm. And you have all this digital yolk dripping off of it and stuff. I don't know how quite to describe it. I mean, this is just the visual of it there. But I don't know. And I was like, what does this sound like? What does it sound like? And that's what I thought it sounded like. But then I was like, there are other sounds too, because I wanted the sound of like glass shards, like little broken pieces of glass, making that tinkling, trinkling sound, like they're spilling onto a surface of some sort. And sort of that, in my mind, my visual mind, my interior mind, I see as glitter. It's a glittering sound, even though that doesn't quite describe it, but maybe it does. I'm not sure. Does it? I'm asking you. But that's what I was thinking. I mean, this is basically what I came up with. And this is still like the rough sound. This is very rough. It hasn't been cleaned up at all, but I like it. I still feel like it needs a little bit more to it. And then ultimately it'll sound a lot better once we add the rest of the sound effects, like the monster growling, things like that, Luna's reaction, and then there will be background music. Like I'm specifically going to come up with a version of the theme song that is specifically for when deconoms show up, when they're born or they show up. They'll be like the dark tone, like slower, deeper version of the theme song. We'll get into theme songs. We'll get into the theme song and just music in general in a different episode when we get to that point in the development of this. But I just thought I just wanted to kind of share this one thing with you, and I wanted to make it short enough, so I just was really talking about this one scene, because there are other scenes, where I'm going to have to make recordings of cityscapes, and I'm going to go to downtown Atlanta and just record audio of people walking around talking and things like that, and footsteps, all sorts of stuff, trains passing through. But yeah, I just wanted to share that stuff with you, and part of the progress of this long adventure, but this adventure that's coming to a close finally. Things are starting to really fall together in a good way. But yeah, thanks as always for watching the video and listening to me ramble. And I hope to see you on the next video. Okay, bye.